President Biden. We think we're going to be very well unified. I've never seen enthusiasm. Look, I did great in the first one. I did great in the second one. I got millions and millions of more votes in 2020 than I did in 2016. We're going to do it. A lot of bad things happen there with you.
Whether you like it or not, we both know that they laid up there and they stole the election from Donald Trump, and that is what it is.
We're going to do it. A lot of bad things happen there, whether you like it or not. And we're going to do phenomenal this one. We have a secure election. We're going to make it secure. It's going to be more secure. That's the biggest threat we have. And we have more enthusiasm now than we had in 2020 or 2016, and that's a lot.
Here's what Nikki Haley said about her chances, because in the polls, as you know, she seems to beat Joe Biden by a wider margin. Oh, you're closing the gap. Here's what she said. Here's what she said yesterday.
If you look at any of the general election polls, Joe Biden and Donald Trump are even. I think there was a Fox poll today. He was up by 2. That's still margin of error. Between last week's poll and this week's poll, I defeat Joe Biden by up to 18 points.
Well, your reaction to her as a general election, she thinks she's a better general election candidate. Your thoughts?
It's a lie. She knows it's a lie. Look, I have beaten Biden in every poll taken for the last 3 months. She loses to Biden in the poll. She had one fake poll that was taken a long time ago, actually before she started on her little kick, and where she was up. Nobody ever heard of the poll. Nikki Haley loses to Biden. She will lose to Biden. The polls are saying that. And then when you add other candidates, she loses by even more. We are winning against Biden in every single poll, and everybody knows it, whether it's the New York Times, whether it's any of the polls that have been taken over the last 3 months. So she's misrepresenting that fact, and it's fine. It's not going to matter because I think we're going to win every state tonight.
I did see her up in a poll, double digits, but you are up. You won. You're up by 4 in the New York Times. You're up by 2 in the Fox News, the Wall Street Journal 2, and the CBS poll 4.
But, Mr. President, can we get your reaction to, it looks like you're winning with Hispanics based on the polling that we got yesterday. You've gained ground, 20 points with black voters. I mean, what's the operation going to look like in this general election? I hear from your advisors that there's going to be no city left behind.
We're going after everything. Look, we have a different country than we had even 2 years ago. This whole migrant invasion of our country, destruction of our country. You look at what's happened to New York and Chicago. You look at what's happened to Los Angeles. We have a much different country in many ways, but also from a voting standpoint. People that were modestly happy 3 years ago are devastated right now. Their country has been invaded. They can't go to hospitals. They can't go to schools. They can't use their playgrounds for their kids. They cancel out the Little Leagues. I read today where Little Leagues are being canceled out all over the country because you have migrants living all over the parks and the fields. Our country is a mess, and I think you have a much different country than you do. We're going to make a heavy play for New York. We're going to make a heavy play for Virginia, states that generally don't go Republican. I think they're going to go Republican in a lot. I think frankly, I think the Democrats have themselves a big problem.
Well, it's fascinating what's taking place. I think a lot of people are dumbfounded by your numbers, and especially over this past weekend, and you compound the momentum you got with the Supreme Court decision. Can we talk about your policies for a second? As you know, this President of the United States, when it comes to Israel, is getting protested. Now he seems to be turning on Israel. With the non-committed vote that Biden's getting, they're not going to like you either because you are firmly in Israel's camp, correct? Are you on board with the way the IDF is taking the fight in Gaza?
You've got to finish the problem. You had a horrible invasion. It took place. It would have never happened if I was president, by the way. As you know, Iran was broke, Brian. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas, for Hezbollah. They were broke. This would have never happened. And for another reason, they wouldn't have done it to me. I guarantee you that. They did this because they have no respect for Biden, and frankly, they got soft. And what happened here is incredible. That should never have happened. Likewise, Russia would never have attacked Ukraine. Never.
Almost here?
You know it.
Nice.
Everybody knows it.
We can get the car ready to be disassembled, which means payment won't be far behind.
Process of abandoning Israel?
I do believe that, but I don't think he knows where he is. Frankly, I think you could Ask him a question right now. Ask him the same question. I don't think he knows what to say about many subjects, actually. It's really the people that surround him. It's the fascists and the communists that surround him. They're making the calls. They're calling the shots. He's not calling the shots.
Mr. President, what did you feel about Kamala Harris calling for a ceasefire in Gaza? Is that something that you support? Is that something that is totally off the table right now for you?
Look, I hate seeing what's happening. Again, it would have never happened. This attack on Israel and likewise Israel's counterattack, which is what it is, would never have happened if I was president. And you know that, Lawrence. This would have never happened. And it's so horrible to watch it. Because, you know, if things went right in 2020, which they should have, but they didn't for some very bad...
Because they lied. So they lied. You can say what the fucking reason is. Stop being like fucking little children.
Ukraine and Russia and Israel and all these people that are dead, all these areas that are destroyed, people would be leading great lives right now. All of these dead people, much more importantly than the physical, but cities that are just totally wiped out all over the place. We're going to end up in World War III. This is the worst president in history. He makes Jimmy Carter look phenomenal. Makes Jimmy Carter look brilliant.
Well, the foreign policy. Let's bring it domestic for a second. I know in about 2 or 3 weeks with your court cases, if I'm going to believe what I read in the decisions, you have to come up with something like $400 million. How close are you to securing the bond, or what you need for that?
I have a lot of money. I could do what I want to do, but this was a horrible, illegal decision. This was a decision made up by a crooked judge, 100% crooked clubhouse judge, a disgrace with a equally crooked attorney general who campaigned on I will get Trump. And we're appealing that decision, and we'll see how we do. But I'll tell you what, people are leaving New York. Businesses are fleeing New York because of that decision. They used a statute to go after me that was never used before.
So you're not
never
worried?
used before.
You're not worried about the money?
I don't worry about anything. No, I don't worry about the money. I don't worry about money.
Mr. President, a lot of people believe that you're at your best when you're fighting for the American people. And we just heard in the diners, we heard immigration. But the other top issue was the economy. What are you going to do to give us some relief when it comes to this inflation? People going to the, you know, whether it's the gas station or to the grocery store, and they're being hit hard. How do you fix that in the first 100 days?
Well, first of all, let me speak to the people in the diner. I saw the vote, and there was 100% Trump, none for my opponent. And I love you in the diner. I will take care of you, and we're going to drill, baby, drill, and we're going to get prices down. Energy's going to bring it all down. We're going to get a lot of that oil. We're going to get the oil and gas right from Texas and other places, but from Texas largely. And I just appreciate it. I saw that vote early this morning. They said, Will's doing a good job, by the way. Will said, you're for Trump, and the whole place went crazy. What about Haley? Nobody, not one person. So all of those people in the diner, I love you.
Right. So speaking of Nikki Haley, she's coming up shortly. After tonight, if the polls are correct, then you run the table and you're a week away from locking it up. Will there be any effort on your side to reach across and say, okay, just like Ted Cruz, just like Marco Rubio, let's make amends and fight on one side? Mm-hmm. Would you call her and reach out to her?
Look, she said she'd never run against me, and she did. She said she beat Ron DeSantis in Iowa, and she didn't. She ran up and she did. She misrepresents a lot of facts. She's not doing nearly well against. She's not doing very well against Biden. She shows these polls that nobody ever heard of. You got to tell the facts. You got to tell the truth. The answer is, I want everybody to come together. We're going to have a unified party because our real opponent happens to be named Biden, and he's a disaster. As I said, the worst president in our country. He's destroying our country.
So, Mr. President,
I don't think in terms of Nikki Haley. I'll tell you what.
Mr. President, real quickly, because we only got a little bit of time with you, is this your call right now to say, after tonight, Nikki Haley, join me on stage for the good of the Republican Party? Is that your request for her tonight?
Well, there's no path for her to win. Whether she likes hearing that or not, there's no path for her to win, no matter what. Now, today, I should win, hopefully, every state. I won North Dakota last night in a landslide, 87 to practically nothing. There's no path. You just saw the vote in Texas. That was a poll. That diner is a poll. Everybody was 100% for Trump. There is no path. What's she doing other than hurting the Republican Party? Now, I have to say this.
First off, if you haven't made money with AI
Man,
yet,
shut up.
don't worry. AI is the biggest wealth.
Yeah, shut
Party.
up.
Now, I have to say this. Democrats gave her a lot of money. Democrats are, because as a certain person, Gavin Newsom, said, there's a man named Gavin Newsom, he interjected himself into this. He said, she's their best surrogate for the Democrats, and that's right. She lost when you had Republican primaries where Democrats were allowed to vote, and they went in large numbers to try and make me look bad, and I still won. And I won in South Carolina against her. So look, there's no path for Nikki. I wish Nikki the best. But she stood up and many, many times said, I'd never run against our president. He was a great president. I would never run. And then she ran. So, you know, those things you don't like to see. You like to see people that are truthful. With all of that being said, our party has to come together because we have to beat the Democrats, and they play dirty. They play very dirty. And we're going to beat them, and it's going to be the greatest election, maybe even more so, and maybe more important. I believe that November 5th is the most important day, perhaps, in our country's history. Because November 5th, we're going to hopefully get Biden out. It's going to be Election Day, November 5th. That's the most important day. We're going to get rid of Biden, the worst president ever, and we're going to close up our borders, and we're going to drill, baby, drill, and we're going to have a great economy. I'm doing tax cuts, additional. I gave the biggest tax cuts in history. They're bigger than the Reagan tax cuts, the biggest regulation cuts in history, and we'll go back to what we had. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country, and we're going to have it again, but in spades. It's going to be bigger and better than ever before. But we have to win this election because our country can't take too much more of this.
So I sense the doors open a little bit for reconciliation, and we'll see how this all finishes out tonight.
Ain't no door ain't open.
Thanks for starting your day with us.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Mr.
it.
President. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to
Man,
subscribe
trick
to...
my ass. I ain't subscribing to shit. I'm tired of all y'all shit. Fuck. All this bullshit. One year you got a motherfucker, next year and change motherfucker, then you got shit going up, then you got shit going down. We fucking stupid. Fucking people are the stupid ones. We should be demanding these fuckers to tell the truth. But these fuckers could lie to us and keep lying to us, and we don't do nothing about it. Nothing. Just let them lie. Don't do nothing about the lies. Just let them lie and let them keep lying. And we just go along and get along. Like little fucking guinea pigs, stupid ass sheep, stupid ass lab rats to the fucking elites. You make me motherfucking sick. I ain't lying. Don't make no fucking sense.
Almost here? Nice! We can get the car ready to be disassembled, which means payment won't be far behind.
Dumbass shit. Dumbass shit.